what I see happening in the business as well, where people, they have no problem to go to countries they didn't even know that wine exists there.
When I started 20 years ago, it's Bordeaux, a bit of Burgundy and nothing else.
I want to try these wines. I want to have them with me, I want to sell them, and I want to help these people to do more and more and more.
There's got to be space for the very best from different places, different regions to really excel. You've got all elements of the business, from the grape growing to the wine production to selling them in restaurants and hotels, and it's the whole.
It's the whole journey. I try to go away from it. I try to study like psychology in university. My mom was telling me, I don't want you to be a waiter like your father. She was telling me, say, don't worry, I will not do the same. It's stronger than me. It's in my veins. It's part of our culture. It's the way we live in Portugal that brings me where I am today. Therefore, we are drinking a Vinho Verde from Portugal. That actually is where my father's side comes from. And my mom's side is actually from Régua. That is the start of the Douro Valley.
Right.
So where actually...
So you've got the two...
Yes, I got the two almost more stronger heritage in terms of wine from Portugal. So with that saying, start to be a bit thirsty. So a nice Vinho Verde.
Beautiful.
For you, bring me back all the way home. So we're talking about Minho, northeast of Portugal, just above the Porto. Mm. Cheers.
Beautiful.
Freshness.
Yeah. So is this your house wine?
I found that in our business, when I arrive, actually the house wine concept is the cheapest one, basically. And I found very intriguing, but the house wine should be the wine that I serve at my house to my guests. Obviously, on a daily basis, I will not afford to be very expensive, but it's definitely not the cheapest one. So for us, it's really important the house wine to be seasonal, the wine that you drink at that specific time of the year. And secondly, something that I really trust, something that I will serve to my parents and to my grandparents, and they're not going to be upset with me because I brought some vinegar to the table.
That's it.
I think that's the concept, and definitely this bottle of Vinho Verde from the Minho region, where my father comes from and all his family. That's our house wine at the moment. I always recommend a glass of Vinho Verde by the riverside, all this water, all this sunshine. This is what we do during
this time of year. It's perfect.
Perfect.
From my perspective, it's great to learn from each other. The more we understand about how you see taste changing and developing, dealing with essentially end consumers. For us over the years, I've learned so much, and it's helped me with selection process. And again, really establishing that confidence to also look further afield for the real gems that we've had. When I started out in wine investment 20 years ago, it was very much a French-based market, very much a Bordeaux-based market. And right now, their market share is being eaten away almost on a monthly basis with other well-established regions, other newer emerging regions as well. And I think that's something that's translated to wine lists, not only here, but generally. Do you feel it's a lot easier to recommend something like this now than it might have been 10 years ago?
So much changes happen in terms of the changing of the flavor profile. I actually start to notice on the whiskeys that the tasting profile on our guests were changing by a huge increase of sales of peated whiskeys.
Okay.
So, and that went along as well with the trend in the kitchen, where everything started to be smoked. So that started to touch base as well our white wine section in our wine list, where younger people were asking more for smoked wines, woody notes, the Chardonnays that no one wants even to hear about them, the woody ones, they start to come again. All that sugar awareness as well, people start to go for more drier stuff. I start to sell less sweet wine. I start to sell more organic stuff. The Prosecco, for example, they want the natural Prosecco, the cloudy one, the one they were doing 100 years ago. People want to go there, where the flavors are a bit more robust, that get the heritage of their beginning.
They can feel the difference.
They can feel the difference, what is commercial from the original version. I think that changed completely the game. What we decide to do on that approach is not because the business is changing and I saw the change coming. We need to be, I don't want to use the word, but I will use it, pretentious. Have a huge wine list where it is impossible to know everything about each wine. So we kind of reduce the lists, knowing the taste, where the taste was going of the guests, in order to be more knowledgeable and to know everything about those products, so we could actually take them on a journey with us.
I bet you've got clients you know when they come in, you almost don't even have to ask. If you've got something you want them to try, they're going to
Yes, they trust
be
us.
excited by
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely, they trust us. And is again going a bit more classical and to my formation as a wine seller or as a waiter or as a manager was always about us going with the book to the table and I have this and that and that. There was that. It was a huge gap between what I believe that was good for them, what the customer thought was good for them. Some of them, they didn't even know what they want. They don't know what they like. So the way that we operate is in a sense that there is a bit of freedom, and we really want to know if they want to know what they like.
Right, that's it.
This is where we are. You don't need to be pretentious. We are honest here. So we try to build that trust based in just find out what they like. I promise you that today you're going to leave the house knowing a bit more about your own taste, because this is what we are concerned about. Then when you know your own taste and I know what you like, then after that we go to a journey and I can take you with me wherever I want to.
It's the same way large merchants or large establishments, they'll have people that they have to work with, contracts they have to honour, and products they'll have to show. And for me, I was always intrigued to see if a market's developing in the way it is, there's got to be space for more. There's got to be space for the very best from different places, different regions to really excel. And it was something that's always been a passion to me. When you look at the future of wines that you may offer and so on, do you feel you're going to be working more closely with independent producers, smaller producers, and maybe shifting away from some of these larger houses?
That's my plan, Enzo, for the future, to bring more young producers of wines to the house, to do more tasting, to do more in this, actually, particularly in this room. I think I'm going to use it more to help who is starting now or the game changers actually from this country, local producers, either from Hampshire or from wherever. I will invite them to come here more often. I will try to connect people where we can actually have more people to add to our conversation. I think this is a good way to do it. Create kind of, we call it in Portugal, tertulia.
Okay.
So tertulia is where you have a small space where people are actually sharing the same passions and trying to develop that and find a way to do it better.
We hold events as well. We have winemakers come over. For us to see that, to see the impact it has, you can't replicate that. The opportunity to actually talk and question and taste with the guy or girl who makes the wine, who grows the grapes or whatever it might be. It's a great thing, and it's something that's so rewarding even for our clients. We've seen it when we put dinners on. They always walk away feeling like they've not only experienced something but learned something. For me, I love speaking to you and seeing where tastes are going, because for me it helps in my decision making, selection process, and especially when we pride ourselves on being confident, making a decision to try something a bit different. At the end of the market that we're dealing in investment of real select products. Before there was such a minuscule set of wines that you could pick from, whereas now we're seeing wines from northern Italy, Rhone, even champagne's now being taken very seriously. From your travels or work life, whatever it might be, what hidden gems have really stood out for you? I know for myself there's definitely a few that have popped up.
I went to Tenerife a few years back for the first time with my wife and kids, and I tried the wine and I felt a huge potential on the grapes. And then you look to these volcano soils and the island itself. I said, but why there is no one doing wine here? What's going on? A few years later, my favorite Portuguese producer, I found out that he was there. There is a huge project coming from Tenerife of one of the top 5 young producers in Europe. They're developing the vineyards over there. Nothing is in the market yet, but for example, there is something really crazy good, completely different coming from there, where they put all their knowledge and all the input and all the experience for the last 20 years in a country that was never able, by the lack of knowledge, by the lack of investment on our own country, by them not seeing that wine was actually a thing for them.
Viable option, yeah.
Yeah, viable option, while now is something really big growing there, where I strongly believe that the purpose of these 5-6 men to be there and do the wine is actually to creating something good rather than just doing money. That's what I feel, that they are creating something even better
it's almost like you're trying to extract the full potential out of something.
Exactly, and I think that's the future.
Yeah.
I think that will be the future where people, they see a purpose. Obviously, there is always, the business part attached to it, but the fact that they take their times where they're already renowned producers, they don't have to go there, by using their passion to develop a country that have all the conditions, but not the money, not the knowledge, not the people. I say, whoa, I want to try these wines. I want to have them with me. I want to sell them, and I want to help these people to do more and more and more.
Yeah.
I think this is a huge trend as well that is going to start to happen more and more.
Yeah. No, this is it. Like you say, we're seeing it grow here. There's so many regions and countries that have got more to bring forward, and it's going to be places like the Bingham Riverhouse, like ourselves, who have the confidence to not be put off or not be scared to be the first to try something or first to do something. And it's through, like you say, conversation, connecting people we know, that we're able to do even more with it.